Welcome to Maths with Dan, and today we're going to be looking at algebra and specifically expanding brackets. For private tutoring lessons, please go into the description below and you'll see my email. And specifically in this video, we're looking at expanding brackets, if we have squares, if we have thirds, and really how to expand out of it. And in the next video, we're looking at the opposite of that, which is factorizing, but enjoy the rest of the video. So starting off, we have a very sort of basic expanding the following expressions. So what you do with this sort of thing, we have a number and letter outside the brackets and numbers in the brackets. So what you do the number outside the brackets, so the term outside the brackets, times the first expression and then times the next expression. So 4a times 2b, which is the first one, is 4ab, and then you do 4a times 2, which is 8a. Very similar to the next one. I missed out the a there, but it should be 8a. 6p times 7q, so you do 6 times 7, which is 42, and then because it's 6p, so you got pq. So 6p times 7q is 42pq, and then the next one you got 6p times minus 8. So then you do the number outside the bracket times the first number in the bracket, then times it by the second number in the bracket. So 6p times minus 8 is minus 48p. I might miss out some letters as we go along on the way. However, I hope you guys can understand, for example, the method on how to work something like this out. So the next one, so we got minus 3a on the outside. You times by the first one, like we did previously, minus 10d. Then you times it by the second one, which is 6a. So minus 3a times minus 10d. So you do minus 3 times minus 10, which is 30. And then there's because minus 3 minus 10 minus minus, it makes it 30, and you got a and d, so 30ad, and then you then got minus 3a times 6a, so you get the minus from the 3, so you got minus 3a times 6a is minus 18a, and because there's two a's, see how I put there's two a's, because minus 3a and it's 6a, it's minus 18a, and you square it. It's a and a, you square it. Then the next one, you do ax times minus 2x. 8 times 2 is 16, there's a minus there, so minus 16. And it's x squared, because the 8 has an x next to it and the 2 has an x next to it. So there's two x's. When you times x's by each other, you should get squared. And then ax times 3y, 8 times 3 is 24, 8, 16, 24, and then 24xy. Then moving on, we now have double brackets. This lecture is a follow-on one from my one before, which is like terms, which you can see in the playlist that this one is in. So it will help you when collecting like terms after you've expanded it. But with this, you do first term times first term, so x times x, first term times second term, x times 8. Then you do second term times first term, and then second term times second term. So x times x, first term is x squared, x times 8 is 8x. So you're doing first term times second term, and then second term times first term. So 1 times x is x plus x, and then 1 times 8 is 8. And then remember, we're collecting like terms. So in my previous video I showed how to collect like terms. So see how we put the x's. So there's no other x squared, so just x squared on its own. And then 8x plus x is 9x, because they both have an x next to it. Then plus 8. There's multiple different methods when doing something like this. This, for example, is a method 1. Which is very basic, just timesing the first term times the first term times second term of the next, second term times the first, second times second. But there's another method, which is method 2. I might go over it now. I'm probably looking at it now. I probably won't go over method 2 right away. I just want to stick with the basics. We'll stick to method 1, and we'll go over method 1 a few more times before I then show you guys method 2. So we'll actually just go through this one using method 1. So remember, first term of the first brackets times first term of the second brackets. So A times B. Then first term of the first brackets times second term of the second brackets minus 3. And then vice versa, 2 times B and 2 times minus 3. So you just need to make sure that everything is times by each other once. So A times B is AB. A times minus 3 is minus 3A. 2 times B is 2B. Then 2 times minus 3 is minus 6. If this is going a bit slow for you, you guys can put it on, for example, 1.5 times speed or 2 times speed. There's a setting button in the top bottom right. You can click on that and then speed it up if you're able to understand this quite quickly. And then the next sort of questions are pretty much the same, C and D. I'm sure you guys can pause it and just go over it yourself. But number E is slightly different. We have a number and then bracket, bracket. You do it very similar. But what you do, you put a line, so you pretend that 3x minus 5 isn't there. So you do it as if we're going back to the first sort of questions we looked at. So you do 3 times 4x and 3 times minus 2. Remember, I looked at this in the first set of questions, how to do a question like this. 3 times 4 is 12, so it's 12x. 3 times minus 2 is minus 6, so 12x minus 6. And then open up the brackets, you then got 3x minus 5. And then we do the same as what we've been doing previously. You can pause it here, see if you're able to work it out yourself. And then skip forward, see if you got the same. If not, just carry on. So 12x times 3x, 12x times minus 5, minus 6 times 3x, minus 6 times minus 5. 12x times 3x is 36x squared. 12x times minus 5. Put that into my calculator. Minus, there's a minus there, minus 5, minus x. Minus 18x, because you've got minus 6 times 3x. Then minus 6 times minus 5 is plus 30. Remember collecting like terms, so the x's have to come together. Minus 60 minus 18 is minus 78x. So you're left with 36x squared minus 78x plus 30. Now the next question is now left with squaring. So we now have squared. When there's a squared on top of the brackets, that basically means, for example, if you have 3 times 3, so if you have 3 squared, that's 3 times 3, isn't it? So that'd be 9. So we have a square on top of the bracket, so we're timesing it by itself again. So 5a plus 4 times 5a plus 4, because you know when something's squared, so if you have 4 squared, it's 4 times 4. 5a plus 4 squared, you have 5a plus 4 times 5a plus 4. So you just write it out twice, and then you expand the brackets like we were previously doing. 5a times 5a, 5a times minus 4. So do first times first term, first times second term, second term times first term, second term times second term. Or, this is another sort of method I did when I was doing my GCSE. It's a lot quicker. You can do it in your head because I understand the paper is very short for time, so you can literally do it very quickly. Is one which I was taught, and it actually helped me out a lot. The first step in this second type of methods is to square the first term. So first term is 5a in this instance. So you square 5a. Remember, if something's squared, it's itself times itself. So 5a times 5a is 25a squared. And then there's another step to this. There's 3 steps to this. That's just the first step. The next step is to times both terms by each other and times it by 2. So in this instance, you do 5a times 4. See, 5a is the first term, 4 is second term. So first term times second term times 2. So 5a times 4 is 20a times 2 is 40a. And then finally, in the last part of this new method, is you square the last term. So 4 squared is 16. So you're left with 25a squared plus 40a plus 16. I do go through this quite slowly, so if you're able to do this quite quickly, you can just put it on 1.5 times speed or possibly 2 times speed and just spam through it just so you can get it done in half the time. So this sort of way is a lot easier. Square the first term times second term times 2, and then square the last term. Moving on to part B now. I'll do it the method 1 way and then do it the method 2 way. I really recommend doing the second method. So the first method, remember, it's squaring, so you write it out twice. You do first term times first term, so minus 2 times minus 2. First term times second term is minus 2 times 6p. Second term times first term, so it's 6p times minus 2. And then second term times second term, which is 6p times 6p. However, or you could do it this other way. where you do, look at what I've got at the top, step 1, square the first term, minus 2 times minus 2 is 4. Then it's first term times the second term times 2, so minus 2 times 6p is minus 12p, minus 12p times 2 is minus 24p. And then square the last term, which is 6p, so you've got 36p squared. See how much quicker that is? Just remember them terms. Instead of having to write it out and do step by step, you can just bang it out in your head. Moving on to the last type of question. This is then one of the hardest sort of ones you get in expanding, and you can expect it to be in the higher paper and the foundation paper. So what you do, if you now have 3 brackets, first off, you cut off one of the brackets, you pretend it's not there, and you act as if it's just 2 brackets. So we do what we've done before. So 7x times 7x, 49x squared. Then first term times second term, so 7x times minus 1 is minus 7x. Minus 7x. Then the next term is 1 is the next term is plus 7x, so you got 1 times 7x, and because you got minus 7x and plus 7x, they cancel. See how I just got rid of both of them? So you're left with 49x squared minus 1, because 1 times minus 1 is minus 1. So now you then bring the next bracket in. So we got 49x squared minus 1 from the first 2 brackets, and then you now multiply it by the next bracket. So you now get rid of that line. Forty-nine x squared times 6x, 49x squared times 8, minus 1 times 6x, minus 1 times 8. This gives you 294x cubed, because you see how there's an x squared and an x. So in the previous video I said about collecting like terms. If you just watch that first so you understand how to do something like this. If you've got an x squared and an x, it then becomes x cubed. It's in my GCSE topics videos, collecting like terms. The next one, 49x squared times 8, 392, off the top of my head, I believe. X squared, because there's an x squared. Minus 1 times 6 is minus 6x. Then minus 1 times 8 is minus 8. Thank you for watching today's video, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Any sort of questions, put it down in the comment box, and be sure to check out the description to maybe reach out for private tuition lessons. But if not, see you again soon, and see you in my next video. Leave it a like if you liked the video, it helps out the channel. If you didn't, don't leave it a like, but see you around.